Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Beyond the Cage. I'm your host, Jim Graham, and joining me today on the line, we have a special guest. She is fighting for the inaugural Bellator Women's Flyweight Championship this weekend from State College, Pennsylvania. She is Ilima-Lei MacFarlane. And Ilima-Lei, thanks for coming on Beyond the Cage.
Hi, Jim. Thanks for having me.
Now, looking at this fight, obviously, is a rematch between you and Emily Ducote. Now, looking at your first matchup, even though you were able to win via unanimous decision, was there anything you felt you did bad in that fight?
Yeah, I thought that I got a little overzealous on my ground and pound, and it allowed her to sweep me not once but twice. And so, yeah, we definitely worked on not landing in her full guard. It was a lot tougher to pass her full guard, and she's also really crafty off of her back. She can throw up arm bars and everything. So that was one thing that I thought I definitely could improve on. And then the other thing was not getting my glove stuck with when I had her back in the second round. I think I could have finished her if my glove didn't get stuck. So, those were a couple things that I thought I could have improved on.
Now, of course, that fight was about 11 months ago. How do you feel you improved as a fighter in these last 11 months?
Oh, man. So this last camp, we basically only did stand-up. So I think my stand-up game overall has improved tremendously since then. And I'm a grappler. I have a wrestling background and a strong jiu-jitsu foundation. So my ground game will always be there, but it was my striking that really needed some work. So I'm really excited to show people how my striking has evolved in this past 11 months.
Speaking of jiu-jitsu, this summer you actually competed in a combat jiu-jitsu tournament with the Eddie Bravo Invitational. I wanted you to talk a little bit about that experience and obviously winning that four-woman tournament this summer.
Yeah, it was really great. I originally was going to try out for the actual EBI portion, the jiu-jitsu portion of it. But Eddie had approached me and asked if I wanted to do the combat part, which I was like, hell yeah, that sounds awesome. I would way rather slap people. So, that was a really great experience, and it's something that I definitely would like to pursue, outside of my fighting career. Anytime somebody wants to do some combat jiu-jitsu, I'm totally game.
For sure, and obviously, like you said, you would do the actual submission-only jiu-jitsu if that opportunity presents itself as well again?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But, if I had the choice between submission only or combat, I would probably choose combat.
All right, let's get back to your fight here at Bellator 186. Obviously, with you winning the first matchup against Emily, do you feel as though it's kind of hard to change a whole bunch what you did, considering it did work for you and you did get the win?
Not necessarily. It is a little tougher because we did experience each other in, all aspects of the game. We were on the ground, we were on our feet, we were against the cage. So I feel like both her and I got a pretty good taste of each other's strengths and weaknesses all over the place. So it's just a matter of, building and improving on those different areas. So, I mean, I don't know. It's tough for me. People ask me that, now that you already beat her, how do you feel going into the fight? But even with as fighters as young as we are, and we're still really early on into our careers, we have that room to grow and evolve as fighters. So, we could become completely different fighters from the last time we saw each other. It's kind of a wild card. I'm just prepared for anything. She could come out super hyper aggressive. She could take her time. She could keep it on her feet or take it immediately to the ground. So it's a wild card fight at this moment. I kind of have no idea what she's going to do or what she worked on this camp. I'm not scouring social media or looking at interviews or anything to hear what the camp is doing, and I'm sure she's not doing that either. So it's like I said, it's kind of wild card at this point.
Now, of course, this fight is scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds. How do you feel about the potential of going that 25 minutes?
I'm not excited for it. I mean, ideally, I would like to finish the fight early on, as early as possible. But you know, my coaches say that I'm prepared mentally and physically to go all 5 rounds. I feel great. This camp was great. There's no injuries. The intensity of our conditioning really, it was very obvious. There was a clear difference, you know, between this camp and my other camps, and it was just because they needed to prepare me for those 5 rounds. So even though I don't want to do it, I'm prepared for it.
All right, I'll get you out of here with this. Now, of course, your name is Ilima-Lei MacFarlane. I was wondering, has anyone ever called you Ilmac? I feel like that should be a thing, and if it's not, it definitely should. Has anyone called you that before?
Ilmac, no, but it's funny because there's actually an artist in Hawaii called Elimac.
Okay.
So that's kind of similar. And then, like, yeah, back in school, one of my teachers would call me Little Mac because, you know, my dad was Big Mac, obviously, and I was Little Mac. But no, not Ilmac. That's funny.
Okay. Well,
Is
you
that
can
like
use
a
that
DJ
now.
name?
You can say. No, I just thought, like, man, that's like an obvious nickname for you. And I was like, I thought of it last night in preparing for the interview, and I was like, I want to ask her that. I feel like, how has no one said that before?
Right? Maybe we can make it something, and I'll say, Jim did it. Ilmac.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Hashtag
I'll
Ilmac.
put a hashtag on it when I tag you. Yeah, hashtag Ilmac. All right.
Perfect.
Well, that is Ilmac, Ilima-Lei MacFarlane. She's taking on Emily Ducote this Friday, November 3rd on Spike TV for the Women's Flyweight Championship for Bellator, hopefully to become the first ever champion. So, Ilima-Lei, thanks for coming on the broadcast. Really appreciate it and look forward to your fight on Friday night.
Thanks, Jim.
Once again, that was Ilima-Lei MacFarlane right here on Beyond the Cage.